onto Denver, folks, where we have Russell Wilson. I told you this is not, these are not the greatest.
But no, this case is easy to make, and someone needs to make it, and that person is you.
It is. Listen, and this is a slam dunk in my opinion. As
long as he beats out Jarrett Stidham for the starting job.
Which, I mean, the way that Sean Payton talks about Jarrett Stidham, I mean, no one has talked about a quarterback like that since Bill Walsh talked about Joe Montana. Okay,
it is alarming.
It's wow. Coaches love Jarrett Stidham. Anyway, Russell Wilson, touchdown rate fell last year to a career low 3.3%. That's about 2.7% below his career touchdown rate. Wilson registered a career low in adjusted yards per attempt last year, way below his adjusted yards per attempt on his career of 8.2. It was less than 7 last year. I mean, his drop off, I go into the article, his drop off was extraordinary in every measurement. I tend to think that at 34 years old, a guy who hasn't suffered a serious injury, I know he just underwent a knee surgery, so I do get that. But a guy who hasn't suffered
undergo knee surgery at the age of 34,
like a major injury, who takes care of himself to an obsessive degree, I tend to think that age can't explain some huge drop off at 34 years old. And I think Sean Payton coming in, telling everybody, I'm the captain. We're going to do things my way. Actually implementing an offense rather than Russell Wilson calling audibles that he called in Seattle. In the Denver huddle. So, I do think that we can expect Russell Wilson, to get back to those career marks. Now, I'm not saying, you draft him highly or anything, but he could be useful in that way.
He was someone who, before his recent regression the past 2 years, had reached kind of rarefied efficiency air. Like, he was one of the more efficient players in the entire league. And he was kind of like Aaron Rodgers. Like, he produced like top 5 or 6 fantasy QB seasons, even when he wasn't throwing for like 4,000 yards necessarily. Yeah. And as we know, Sean Payton, one of the most efficient play callers in modern NFL history, should be a great fit, at least in theory, where he can be he's been weirdly inaccurate on like shorter throws lately, but he can be pretty accurate on the intermediate stuff. And unlike Drew Brees, the final few years of his career, he can kind of maybe restore that deep element to Sean Payton's offense. So it all makes sense unless Russ is just actually done, which there is a 0% chance he's done.
From 2014 to 2021, no quarterback had a higher completion rate over expected than Russell Wilson. I have a hard time accepting that he just forgot how to play the position last year.
He might have. Kyle, any Russ thoughts?
Yeah, he was so good. Like, he was model breaking good. In the famous Pete Carroll offense, right? Because they had multiple offensive coordinators while he was there, and I think a lot of it was Nathaniel Hackett last year. Like, there was like dumb stuff. Like, the amount of penalties they took is almost like clear evidence it was a coaching issue, right? And some of that could also fall on the quarterback. But I do think having a coach who knows what he's doing will actually be a pretty big boon for this offense. And like Denny said, it wasn't like his arm appeared to give out. It wasn't like, the final Manning season or whatever, right? Where he's just lobbing up ducks. It just looked like complete chaos on the field. Like, he had no clue what was going on. His receivers weren't on the same page as him. We have so many chef's kiss clips of his receivers screaming at him on the field. So
not even good receivers either. Like, it was like number 5 receiver screaming at him.
I know. Didn't KJ Hamler do that once?
Yeah,
he got hurt?
Yeah, it was KJ Hamler. KJ Hamler is now hurt again.
Yeah.
Well,
what can you do?
But this to me it looked like very much like managerial problems as much as that can happen for a football team. Now, like,
it was kind of like a perfect storm too, where like Russ and his ego last year didn't seem like the kind of quarterback you want to be having managerial issues with. Mm-hmm. So just like a really, really toxic brew when you combined it all together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this one, like, I can see it. And I want to see it. I was in on Russ last year, but like Denny said, this wasn't an age guys falling off thing. And because of that, going from an iconically bad offense, an entire offensive system, but specifically a head coach who didn't know what he was doing, to one of the most successful head coaches in NFL history. Like, even if Peyton comes in and is kind of phoning it in and just wait and take the offseason off to go fishing, that will still be an upgrade.
Yeah, kudos to the Broncos for having the fortitude to be one and done, by the way. Like, it had to be done. And you can understand why you don't want to go one and done, but it had to be done.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and Rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, okay? Respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Rotoworld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.